should be live on YouTube. And thanks to mobile technology, we will be live on Facebook as well. That's the only thing you have to wait for Facebook to get us to kick in, but there we go.
Nice.
Go live, and we are live everywhere.
Live.
Hi, people of the internet. I'm with Chris Kubby.
Hey. I'm
finally here with him. Chris is an inspiration to me and to a lot of people on Instagram.
Maybe.
I noticed you when you were talking about Beam. So that was
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this guy is talking about Beam. We had a difference of opinion on there because I didn't really agree with your opinion on Beam, but
yes,
I was like, he knows his stuff though. You had some stuff that you were right about, but
definitely some stuff I'm wrong about too. Yeah.
Well, not wrong, but a different idea.
That's fine.
So we're in Copenhagen.
Yes.
I'm in Copenhagen. Hey guys, I'm in Copenhagen, and I really wanted to come and meet you because Chris puts out all kinds of inspirational texts and video on Instagram. Now, I blog these people straight away because I know that they're sitting at home looking for inspirational quotes. But Chris, he keeps it real. His quotes are his own quotes.
Yes.
And he does the hustle. He does the realness.
I do.
Chris.
Yes.
Introduce yourself and tell me about yourself a little bit.
Sure.
And what you do.
Sure. So we are in Copenhagen. I run a digital agency here in Copenhagen. I founded it almost 3 years ago. I'm originally Canadian. I came here about 10 years ago. I married a Dane. And, I've been a marketer almost my entire life. Like, seriously, when I was the age of 12, I would sit and critique ads on TV and print ads and bus stop ads. And my parents thought I was really weird and like this crazy kid. So I begged them to buy me a book, 100 or 1,000 Jobs in Advertising. I forget what the name of the title was, and I basically read it cover to cover and tried to find, okay, what is this advertising industry about, and should I do this? And so by age 12, I knew that. And by age 14, I started an internship at a local ad agency, a very small agency. I was basically sweeping floors. And so I was really into that. And then the World Wide Web hit. So I started building websites, learning HTML, getting into email marketing. This is like the mid-90s, like really early days. So I started building stuff with front page and getting into HTML and all that kind of fun stuff and Flash.
How old are you, Chris?
I was 16 at the time.
Now?
So, I'm 37 now.
Oh, okay.
So how am I now? I'm 16 now. That's some road miles on me.
You know that 30 is the new 20.
30 is, yes, I heard that. 40 is the new 30, so
yeah,
I'm still young. So I started doing that and just getting really interested in digital marketing, right? So, and then at 18, I had my own small business, basically doing graphic design, video, audio, just scrapping together whatever I could. It put me a little bit through college, and I went to university to study communications. And from there, I moved to Toronto to work for a venture capital firm. So I was doing basically turnarounds, fixing people's companies with their branding and their marketing.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was a very, very exciting time. I got to rebrand a ton of companies and work with marketing with a ton of companies in a very short period. And then from there, I moved to Denmark, worked with an ad agency, then went client side for a bit. And then in January of 2016, I got tired of the corporate gig. Well, actually, I got tired way earlier and was tired of the corporate gig, tired of, basically where I was in my life. And I said, okay, now or never, right? Now is the time to start your own business. Stop doing this corporate thing. Go and do it. Stop complaining. And I did. So in 2016, January 1st, I started Kubby & Co. And awesome. Then it's been a wild ride. So we're now 15 people, keep growing, getting new clients, doing social media content mostly, video content, a ton of video stuff, and yeah, just grinding, just working my face off, basically.
Well, that's what that's like your life if you're
An entrepreneur.
an
Some entrepreneurs don't do it that way, but I've found it works for me. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of work. That's what I'll say.
How's your work-life balance?
My work-life balance sucks. I'll say that right now. Work-life balance doesn't exist for me. And I think my wife would agree. She'd be like, you don't really have a life. No, I don't have a life. But the thing is like, there's many ways of doing it. And I don't say to anybody, hey, you should do it this way. Mm-hmm. I actually don't recommend people do it my way. Because my way is extremely stressful. I don't get to see my kids as much as I want. I don't get to see my wife as much as I want. But those are the choices that I've made, and that's the bed I've made, so I'm going to lay in it. And the consequences of that will never be, you know, there's going to be bad stuff that comes from that. I know that. And then you just have to sort of weigh out the good with the bad and decide if that's the right approach. For me right now, trying to build this company and trying to do the entrepreneurship thing, I've decided, okay, it's going to be a little rough on work-life balance. Hopefully I can course correct in the future. That's what I'm hoping for. But right now it's you know, I'm working 100 hours a week, right? Like just
that's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours. And the thing is when you're an entrepreneur also and it's your own business,
you're taking it home.
Yeah, you take it home. Like it's so hard to turn it off. It's so hard to like come home at 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night or whatever time and just say, okay, that's that. And I'll work on family now. So it's always in my head and it's always sort of buzzing around and stuff like that. So,
how is the switch between corporate and having your own business and having your own people to lead?
Well, corporate is, I mean, those are fond memories actually now, because but like not trying to put like a damper on it, but like, you know, there's real benefits to working corporate side and there's real benefits to doing your own entrepreneurship side.
5 or 6 o'clock, you're off. And
like, you can kind of forget it. I mean, like, it depends on the job, obviously, and what you're doing and all that stuff. But, I mean, I love this. This is fantastic. I mean, having employees, I knew immediately, actually, when I started my entrepreneurship journey that I wanted to build a big team. Mm-hmm. Right, I went in with that. That's not for everybody. Some people want to be freelancer entrepreneurs, or some people want 1 or 2 people or 3 people. Some people want 1,000 people. I want the 1,000 people. I want the big agency, the big business. So I knew going in that that's what I wanted. So I set that direction and that tone and that sort of that mm-hmm. goal. And it's fantastic. I love working with people. I think that I have a better approach to business than some. So I feel it's also my responsibility to do it, to give mm-hmm. people a good place to work, to support them, to inspire them. So in order to do that, I should have a lot of employees. I should have a lot of people that I can help. So mm-hmm. that's how I sort of look at it.
You're leading by example.
Trying to. I mean, no, but it's a good point. Like, you know, I'm brand new to this. I'll be 100% honest. Like, I've never built a company like this.
How's the pressure? I mean, if you're working for someone, you have the pressure of sustaining yourself and your family, right?
Yeah.
But once you become a leader of
a team
of well, how many are you?
There's
now?
15.
15 of
They're
you.
all leading lunch at the moment.
But there's a huge space. I'm gonna make a video of it. A lot of people can fit in here.
Yeah.
So how is that when you have 15 people at the moment, but you'll have 30 or 50 and 100 at
whatever time?
Whatever time. Yeah. How's that? How does that feel to take them on your back?
Yeah, the pressure is there. Obviously, like you have to have some pretty wide shoulders. Meaning, you are responsible for them and also yourself and also your family and also, you know, your kids and all that and your friends. Like, you have to be able to take on that responsibility and be able to bear that weight, because it can be like, oh my God, like I have to make sure that the salaries are all paid and that everyone's happy and, like, you know, that they're healthy and that they're living, you know, their life well, because you have to look at people not just as workers, you have to actually look at them as a whole person, right? So even though I don't have work-life balance, I have to also look at their work-life balance and think for them in some ways, and make sure that you don't burn them out, make sure you don't overwork them, make sure that they're doing work that they enjoy and that they love, or else they'll quit, they'll basically leave, and then you're basically with, you have somebody that either isn't performing well or is going to leave, and then you got to fill that seat, and that takes time and resources. So you really got to think about your people. You really got to focus on them and focus on how do I support them the best. That being said, there's only so many hours in the day, right? So you have to find that balance of, doing what's also, see, this is the other thing that they don't teach you maybe in some entrepreneurship school, or you don't see on Instagram, is that what's best for your employees is sometimes not what's best for the business, right? And that's a hard thing to understand. Like sometimes, what people want or what people need from you isn't what's good for the business on the whole. Because you're not just looking after one person, you're looking after 15 or 10 or 20 or whatever. So, you'll come to decisions where you have to look at them and say, well, that's really good for that one person, but that's not really good for the other 14 or the other 10. So you have to make a decision on that. And that's a tough call sometimes to make, because you really want to support people and help them. But if it doesn't support the rest of the business, you have to make some hard choices. Like, does that person go? Does that person stay? Does the role change? Does, all these sort of things that you have to sort of come to grips with.
Have you had to let people go?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if they don't fit culturally.
Oh.
Right?
I just love that you said that.
Why?
Oh, man. Because we had a little talk before, but our main product that we are researching right now and developing is an application that really focuses on cultural fit. Because the way we see it right now in the today's world, seeking people for certain jobs is really the old. The future is getting people who have the cultural fit,
right, and
they have the skill set that can benefit your company.
Yes.
So what you need to do, how you need to seek out people, employees, is to get the cultural fit right, and they have the skill set, and then find some kind of work for them inside your company.
Right.
Because there will be work.
Yes, absolutely.
If they have their skill set right and the cultural fit, then they'll love it.
Those things need to come together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's interesting is that you can do a lot of pre-work ahead to find out who fits culturally. You can get a sense of it. Like there's a lot of, cultural cues or sort of lifestyle cues or sort of how they are with certain things. You can test them out a lot and sort of see what they're like. But it does also come down to, if they come in the team, sometimes, you'll see that right away. And so a lot of companies will keep people based on their skills. Like we've had lots of people that were very skilled, but didn't fit culturally. And then a lot of other companies will keep them because they're like, oh, they're doing a great job, they're doing this, but they're causing hell for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. How long are you gonna keep an asshole around? Yeah,
exactly. So we don't put up with that. We get rid of people. We know within 30 days if that person's gonna fit with us. And if they don't, then I'm sorry. As busy as we are, like we're gonna have to take the hit and find another way to resource that or another way to do the job. But I can't stand for someone making everybody else's life hell or causing problems.
Yeah.
Right? Because then the whole team goes down, not just one person. So, cutting those people loose is an important part of the job, I would say.
How easy is it to find people nowadays?
What I do is this probably goes against what you guys do, but I literally just use my network. I use the people here a lot to ask, people here, hey, who do you think is good in this space and who does that well and who's that well? And we've been very successful at that. We've been also very successful at using LinkedIn just to post, hey, we're looking for this kind of person. And we typically get a really good amount of applications and very focused applications. So that's been good for us. The trick is, I think, has been finding people that have a high work ethic. So I think that's been tough. We've had to go through a lot of applications, a lot of interviews to discover, okay, do these people, are they passionate about what they do? Specifically in the marketing space, I'll say this, and for anybody who's in marketing that's looking for a job, I can tell right away if you're passionate. I asked one specific question. Who are you following? Whose advice are you following? Who are you looking at in this space?
What's Kubby?
What? Yeah. Yeah, no, if they answer that, I'm like, who else are you following? Who are you looking at? Whose advice? And I asked, like, what mediums? What are you watching on YouTube? What are you listening to? If they do not have a good answer, I do not hire them, because it tells me right away they're not passionate enough about their field, that they're consuming content or listening or learning on a continual basis. They'd have a degree in marketing or a degree in whatever, finance or whatever, but they're not continuing their education. They think it's just like, oh, I got a degree, now I'll go get a job. And I weed them out immediately.
Yeah, that's the thing about this field of work, because if you are looking for someone in marketing, they're usually, I mean, what we're seeing is that young people nowadays, millennials and from there up, they've grown up on Instagram and
Right.
Facebook not so much now, but
Right.
all these social media platforms, and they think that they are marketers because they have
They just use that, yeah.
they've used it, and some of them, they really know how to market themselves.
Right.
But then,
But a brand is different.
exactly, and it's one thing to market yourself. They're really good at that.
Yeah.
Because they have to be, because they need the likes, they need the little hearts, because that's their social metering
That's
right
their
now.
dopamine hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they've learned that, and you really have to be careful. You really have to ask the right questions when you're hiring them.
Right.
Are their marketing selves really good?
Right.
Or are they going to be good at marketing something else?
Something else. I think you're right. Yeah. You have to find those people.
Yeah.
And it is different.
And it is a really hard thing, because then you think, okay, this guy is really good because he really presented himself really good. And then you hire him, and then it turns out, damn, a month from now, he's like, he is doing something, but he's not doing what I want him to do.
Right.
And then you have to let him go.
Yeah.
And there's a month that went by with that seed being filled with the wrong person.
Yeah. Personal branding is different than branding in a lot of ways. You can still translate a lot of the tools there, but when you get into actual marketing and campaigns and communication strategy, most personal brands haven't gone that far. They're not thinking about the products that they have to sell, or on a strategic level, what do they want to communicate this quarter, next quarter, this. So those sort of elements, and those can be taught, right, to a good personal marketer, but often not, they need to learn that, and so they can't just come into the business and do it right away. So you need to massage it a bit and get them going with it. But the litmus test for me has always been: are you passionate enough about this that you're consuming content on your own, that you're not just like going home and watching House of Cards, that you're actually into this game, right? And so that's sort of what I do.
Who would you recommend? I mean,
Gary's the number one. Grant Cardone's really great. Ty Lopez. There's so many. I mean, for SEO wise, like if you're really into SEO or SEM, I mean, Backlinko, Brian Dean is really great. Some other good marketers, Jay Bear. I mean, like, they're all really doing well. I think that the amount of people on YouTube is insane right now, and you can basically get any kind of marketing knowledge that you want out of YouTube. You don't even need a degree anymore. It's pretty freaking crazy. I mean, like, some of the strategies that are out there on YouTube, you got to weed through it though, and you got to be smart enough to smell BS. But I think that there's just a ton of great people out there.
it's crazy. I don't know how universities will survive
in the future.
In the future, because so much information is out there. Yeah, you're right. You have to find the right ones, but
Yeah.
I mean, learning really anything can be
done. Yeah, on the web now.
On the web for free.
Yeah.
You just go on YouTube or wherever, and you can learn Photoshop, or you can learn marketing, or
absolutely. Yeah, we have an 18-year-old kid here. I don't see him, he's still at lunch, but we have an 18-year-old kid named Emil, who is self-taught, and he's an awesome graphic designer. Like completely, like, at age 12 started picking up, Photoshop and Illustrator, and he's 18 working at an agency, which is crazy. Like, he was 17 when he started here.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's like, and we love him. Like, but this is the kind of people that we're seeing. Like, they're self-taught, they know their stuff, they've applied their knowledge, so they've learned something on YouTube, but it's not like they've just left it there. They've actually applied it, and now they're using it in the workforce without any degree.
And you'll know that when he's 17 and he's doing that professionally, you gotta keep that guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold on to him as much as I can, right? So he's a good guy, but I mean, and he's got a lot to learn as well, which is what we teach, and we try to nurture him and sort of help him out. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And you have 2 Hungarians.
We have 2 Hungarian guys. They're some of the best. Actually, Peter, one of our video guys, just joined, so he's fresh off the boat. He just joined, and then we have Andy, who joined us 6-7 months ago, and they're fantastic. We have a lot of, I'd say we have a very international team. We have me, Canadian, we have a few Danes, we have a couple of Latvians, we got a Lithuanian guy, we got an Italian, we have a Iraq/Algerian/Dane. We have, who else we got? We got a Slovenian as well. So we've got like a very international team, and that's the way I like it. I'll say this: the people coming out of Eastern Europe and Central Europe and the whole sort of Baltics as well, they're fantastic. They are fantastic employees. They work hard, they're skilled, they're talented, they're nice to work with. They're great people to have on your team.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having some Hungarians here.
Yes.
I'm going to do an interview with them, because the thing right now in Hungary is that a lot of people are exiting the country and going to England to wash dishes because they get better paid than and people with 1, 2, 3 degrees. I mean, it's
not so nice.
It's really nice to find people who are not washing dishes and being successful.
And they're fantastic guys. Like they're all of our team are fantastic. I love them. So I think.
If they weren't, they wouldn't be here.
They wouldn't be here, right? So, I mean, and I think, a lot of the European countries are going to go through a awakening where it's like, oh, crap. Like, because I'll be 100% honest, like maybe 10 years ago, probably, maybe 15 years ago, the impression of when you were hiring somebody from the Soviet or the ex-Soviet countries, or the Eastern Bloc or the Baltics or anything like that, was like, oh, the quality's not there, the schooling wasn't there, the whatever. But now it's just like there's such a high level of educated and smart and talented people that the other countries have to keep up. They're going to be keeping up with those other countries now, which is very very interesting time.
Yeah, because you know what happened, especially England and the western part of Europe. They're just they started outsourcing skill jobs.
Yes.
And the thing is,
instead of just blue collar, now they're outsourcing all white collar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changing a lot.
And that's the what people don't think about Brexit is, if Brexit happens and all those people who are doing the skill jobs leave because they will not have that income, will not have that support of the union and all the work related things. When they leave, who's going to do those jobs?
Yeah. They're hoping to get their own people to do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's but I think it's a very interesting time for talent.
It is.
So, great.
All right, Chris. thank you for sitting down.
Thanks for having me. It was really great to meet you in person and have you here. So
awesome. Yeah. And if you're willing and if you have time between all of this hustling, maybe we can do some internet via Hangouts, Skype type of thing in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Yeah.
Because we need inspiring people to tell people to get people inspired and
yes.
to teach them the
I'll do more.
hustle.
I promise. I'll do more.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Okay, cheers.
And we're ending this live show and gonna do a tour of the studio, and I'll do some edited video about that. So bye guys.